Hello, I'm Lara Kochersan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. From Gen Z to baby boomers, voters of all ages showed up for Vice President Kamala Harris as she toured the critical swing state of Pennsylvania on Sunday. Meanwhile, in Chicago, delegates have gathered for this week's Democratic National Convention, where Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz are expected to be officially nominated as the party's candidates for the November election. Harris's campaign has seen significant momentum, breaking fundraising records, drawing large crowds, and shifting polls in some battleground states in favor of the Democrats. While domestic issues will be the primary focus, foreign policy is also expected to be a significant topic, particularly Israel's war on Gaza. Protesters have taken to the streets of Chicago, calling for a ceasefire and urging the U.S. to halt its aid and weapons support to Israel.
People being here for protesting, they are not talking about anyone really coming for the Palestinians or the Palestinian movement. So that is something that we really want to stress. We really want people to know that this is why we were here, this is what we are doing. So help us spread that message, share these posts, and get it out in front of as many people as you can, because we showed up and there are so many people that are showing up. There's supposed to be over 100,000 plus pro-Palestinians or pro-Palestine people that are here.
Further afield, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is making a final push for a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of hostages. America's top diplomat has met with Israeli leaders as Hamas raised doubts about his mission. The group accuses Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of sabotaging months of negotiations and pushing Israel closer to a broader regional conflict. Hamas is calling for a U.S.-led deal, but new demands are complicating the process. This marks Blinken's ninth trip to the region since October 7. Despite efforts by the U.S., Qatar, and Egypt to mediate, significant differences remain unresolved. The conflict has resulted in at least 40,000 Palestinian deaths and 92,000 injuries, highlighting the severe humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
This is a decisive moment, probably the best, maybe the last opportunity to get the hostages home, to get a ceasefire, and to put everyone on a better path to enduring peace and security. I'm here as part of an intensive diplomatic effort on President Biden's instructions to try to get this agreement to the line and ultimately over the line. It is time for it to get done. It's also time to make sure that no one takes any steps that could derail this process.
In the besieged Gaza Strip, where suffering worsens daily, Palestinians are pessimistic.
As I said, this visit is as usual just to check on Israel and provide it with arms and logistic matters, to continue with the war of extermination in the Gaza Strip. There will be no changes. We are very pessimistic about his visit.
Blinken's visit to Israel will not change anything. Every time we hear this, but it's not true. But it is the complete opposite. Every time it turns out that there are no negotiations. It is all lies. They lie to the Palestinian people and give them anesthesia needles. They say there are negotiations and then they fail and say the results are negative. They are lying just to destroy us more and more, kill us and kill our children.
While protesters in Chicago got their voices heard, in Berlin, a pro-Palestinian rally turned violent. Hundreds gathered in Berlin to express solidarity with Palestine and protest against Israel's actions in Gaza. The initially peaceful demonstration was disrupted when a counter-group appeared, waving Israeli flags and provoking the crowd. The police intervened, calling for the protests to disperse, but tensions flared and clashes broke out. Social media is now abuzz with videos showing German police reportedly manhandling a 15-year-old boy and assaulting a woman. In India, protests are rapidly spreading nationwide in response to the brutal rape and a murder of a young doctor on August 9. Thousands of doctors have walked off the job, disrupting operations at both public and private medical facilities. Demonstrators are pressuring the government to improve safety for female employees in medical settings and ensure quicker justice. A police volunteer has been arrested and charged with the murder of the 31-year-old doctor who was raped after working a 36-hour shift at a hospital in Kolkata. The incident has underscored the ongoing issues women face in India, despite the country's stricter laws implemented after the 2012 gang rape and murder of a 23-year-old student on a moving bus in Delhi.
I'm an Indian woman. I can fly fighter jets, report from war zones, be an ace surgeon, or close billion-dollar deals. But I can't be sure that I won't be raped or killed at my place of work.
This rape and murder is the latest in a string of attacks that we've had against resident doctors. Now, resident doctors are postgraduate students who are commonly called junior doctors inside hospitals. They are assigned in the emergency room. They are assigned to do the rounds and check on patients within a certain time interval. They assist on surgeries. They work long hours that actually go into days without a break. They're not given adequate breaks. They're not given adequate food. They're not given security. A lot of times when families get upset because the patient doesn't survive, they attack physically the junior doctors. In this case, they're not given proper place to sleep. If they have an hour's break, there's no place where they can shut their eyes. There's one report that came out in 2015 that said 75% of the doctors in India have faced some kind of workplace violence or the other. In 2023, in Safdarjung Hospital in Delhi, there was a junior doctor or a resident doctor who was attacked with a screwdriver by a patient. Repeatedly, resident doctors have protested about the lack of safety that they face while they're working and the inhumane conditions in which they're required to work. And here we are again. Repeatedly, various governments, central and state, give them assurances, but nothing changes.
A social media platform is clashing with the Brazilian government. Yep, I'm talking about X, which has announced its closing operations in Brazil effective immediately. Elon Musk, the platform's owner, described the decision as challenging but unavoidable due to censorship orders issued by Judge Alexandre de Moraes. Moraes has reportedly threatened to arrest one of X's legal representatives if the company did not comply with orders to remove certain content. Earlier this year, Moraes instructed X to block specific accounts while investigating digital militias accused of spreading fake news and hate speech during former President Jair Bolsonaro's administration. Despite the shutdown, X claims its service will still be accessible to Brazilian users.
Liberdade de expressão.
Freedom of speech is not freedom of aggression to distract democracy, institutions, dignity, and others' honor, nor is it to spread hate speech and prejudice.
As we have seen with the US elections, social media platforms are playing a big role in shaping political agendas. Elon Musk is clearly aligned with Trump, while Meta has shown strong support for the Democrats. Now, analysts are suggesting that the sudden closure of X in Brazil might have political motivations behind it.
What's more, the events of the last few weeks make clear that Elon Musk is the only thing standing in the way of global totalitarianism. Without free speech, there can be no democracy. If X goes down, we must continue to fight. We can continue to communicate through email and other social media platforms such as Facebook. But email is no substitute for the capacity of social media platforms to share information instantaneously with millions of people.
Now, this is a horrible reminder of why we should always read the fine print before mindlessly checking that accept box. Earlier this year, Jeffrey Piccolo filed a lawsuit against Disney World for wrongful death after his wife tragically passed away from an allergic reaction at a Disney World restaurant in October. Piccolo is seeking damages of over $50,000. However, Disney is arguing that Piccolo has no right to sue the company because he has a Disney Plus account.
Disney is trying to throw out a wrongful death lawsuit against them. Why? Because the person that is suing them signed up for a Disney Plus account, and in that big long document that you never read and just agree to, it claims that all claims against Disney need to be arbitrated, even if the wrongful death suit has nothing to do with Disney Plus. Unfortunately, there was a woman that went into Disney Springs, ate at a restaurant, who had severe allergies. In the restaurant, she tried to make it very clear she had this allergy, and the kitchen kept assuring her that they can make her food safe. Well, unfortunately, she had an anaphylactic reaction. She was able to take an EpiPen, but it didn't help, and she ended up passing away. Her husband has brought a lawsuit against Disney for this actions, and Disney has now filed a motion to dismiss, saying that the suit should be thrown out because he doesn't have standing to bring a lawsuit because he signed up for a Disney Plus streaming service trial in 2019, and in that he agreed that every claim against Disney will be arbitrated, and therefore he doesn't have standing.
Disney is now joining the ranks of companies like Airbnb and Walmart, which are using increasingly aggressive tactics to push consumer lawsuits into arbitration. It's still unclear how the courts will handle this particular dispute, but legal experts point out that it's not uncommon for companies to stretch the reach of arbitration clauses, arguing that they cover any affiliate under their corporate umbrella and apply to any allegation, even if it's completely unrelated to the original transaction that led to the agreement. We have explored the rise of AI in music on this show before, but now we're seeing something unprecedented. A fully AI-generated song is making waves on a national music chart. In Germany, a track called Verknallt in einen Telefon, which translates to In Love with a Telephone, has broken into the country's top 50 listened songs. While it may seem like a quirky milestone for AI, the song's ascent to number 48 on the charts in the world's fourth largest music market raises some serious concerns.
Ich glaube, ich bin verknallt in einen Telefon.
The term Telefon is a derogatory label that has gained popularity on social media, especially among young Germans and Austrians on platforms like TikTok. It's used to describe men with migrant background, often portraying them with stereotypical characteristics. This isn't just a niche term, it's one that's been weaponized by extremists to fan the flames of Islamophobia and xenophobia. The song's popularity, with 3.5 million streams on Spotify and a spot at number 3 on the platform's global viral chart, is worrying. Many fear that by making this term mainstream, the song could be normalizing hateful language and reinforcing negative stereotypes rather than challenging them. You know, TikTok has a way of grabbing obscure words, turning them into viral memes, and then overusing them to the point of exhaustion. Right now, everyone's buzzing about the word demure.
Very considerate, very demure.
You see how I left my ex-husband on his 40th birthday? Very demure, very mindful.
See how I covered this ugly popcorn ceiling with fine cedar because my wife asked me to? Very demure, very custom.
See how I come to work? Very demure. I don't wear too much makeup. I don't come showing up with wing liner and lashes.
For those not in the loop, the latest TikTok trend has users joking about how demure and mindful they are in the most mundane situations. TikTok loves to resurrect old or obscure words. Sometimes it's in a cheeky way, like glazing, and other times with phrases like "it's giving." There are also updates to classic terms, like calling someone who gossips a lot a yapper, or using Pookie as a sweet nickname. So why does TikTok go all out with certain words and phrases? Well, it's all about the format of the content. Unlike Twitter's text and image humor, TikTok makes words fun by showing and hearing them in action. It's all about finding that perfect word at the perfect time. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.